cases for Hillary Clinton.
Political analyst Wendy Patrick joins us here in studio. And Laura Fink is in Philadelphia to break down last night's action at the Democratic National Convention. Ladies, good to talk to you as always.
Thanks, Erica.
Hey, good morning, Erica.
Good morning, good morning. All right, Vice President Joe Biden especially went after Donald Trump in his speech last night. Laura, sort of take us inside the convention center.
Well, this was a high energy night for Democrats. There were so many Democratic luminaries, there was barely enough time to put them all on the floor. When you have a vice president, a vice presidential nominee, and the current president of the United States, it's tough to make room for everyone. But the fact of the matter is, you couldn't leave your seat, because if you did, you would lose it. It was packed to the gills last night, and the crowd was riveted as we watched Democrats make their case for why Hillary Clinton should be president.
Wendy, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, last night was a pile-on to Donald Trump. I mean, it was just one thing after another. Martin O'Malley called him an immigrant-bashing carnival barker.
Wow.
And it went from there. I mean, it was just, I don't know that there's a person that spoke that didn't mention him. In fact, he even made his way onto the screen in Sigourney Weaver's climate change video. Now, that's quite an accomplishment. So while he wasn't there physically, he certainly was there spiritually, verbally, visually. And by the way, he was engaged in his own counter-programming, talking and tweeting about the convention, even though he wasn't there. So again, there are differences of opinion as to how much that helps the party in power, talking so much about the opponent. I guess we'll be able to see that reflected in the polls next week.
Here's a question for you. Democrats last week were asking, why all the Hillary bashing? They were upset with all the Republicans Hillary bashing. Weren't the Democrats doing the same thing to Donald Trump last night?
Okay, well, not by any volume as close. You saw the president make a case, a vision for the country, where he talked about hope and the audacity of hope, his message throughout. He talked about facing tough times, but adhering to American values. The lion's share, and in fact, Trump's name was not mentioned. They did not say his name for a good period of time. So
the
frankly,
president said his name.
Sure, finally, because he hadn't said his name before. But this night in the convention traditionally is the night where you do draw contrast with the other candidate. What we have seen, though, was all 4 days dedicated to Hillary Clinton bashing. We have seen a positive vision for the country being articulated by regular people, by politicians, by visionaries, and by Hollywood stars. I mean, it's actually a really fantastic contrast to draw with the Republican convention, where I got to tell you, I kind of felt bad for my Republican friends, because usually they make a very good case. And usually as a speechwriter, I get the uh-oh feeling when I see one of those great speeches that I may not agree with, that I know is resonating. That didn't happen this year. And frankly, the Democrats are hitting it out of the park. They're doing better this year than I've seen in 4, maybe 8 years.
Okay, come on, Wendy, get in on this. They were bashing Trump. Come on now.
As a speechwriter, Laura can appreciate that President Obama allegedly had to redo his speech after his wife gave her very eloquent, powerful speech the other night. He said he stayed up till like 3 in the morning or something redoing his. Spent a lot of time on it, really delivered last night. And then, of course, Mrs. Clinton made a surprise appearance at the end. I mean, it was really, he has a vision for the country. But remember, it depends on what your politics are. If you believe that we need to go in a different direction and we believe that there's things that can be fixed, you believe in the Donald Trump camp. If you believe in that Hillary can be a change agent, as was the theme yesterday, and I expect will be the theme tonight, you're going to agree that, Barack Obama did a great time last night. There's almost no way to get around that the way these speeches are received has much to do with the politics of the people that are watching. But remember, this brings us back to the Declaration of Independence. Those that maybe don't have partisan affiliation, and maybe those that are undecided. Those are the people that will be affected one way or another as to the content, the substance of what both sides have to offer. In other words, is it just bashing the opponent, or is it a vision for the future for themselves?
Well, and let's talk about that, because one of the other things I noticed was that Republican convention was all about red meat for the base. I mean, if you weren't on the Atkins diet, you weren't finding stuff there. The Democratic convention, and I'll give you an example of it, put up Michael Bloomberg, who was an independent for the longest time. And so he really made the case for independence and swing voters. So you're seeing a variety of messaging at this convention that is very different. The Republican goal and where they put all of their poker chips was doubling down on the base. The Democratic convention is a little bit different.
We'll have one more question and then we've got to run, ladies. I'm curious, you know, Joe Biden talked about Trump saying this guy doesn't have a clue about the middle class, and I'm curious about the middle class, those that have not seen the benefits of any kind of economic rebound. And when they look on the stage and they see these celebrities and they see Hollywood and they see these speakers that they feel like haven't helped them and they feel disenfranchised from all of this, is this message going to resonate with those folks? Laura, we'll let you take that, and then Wendy, you can finish it up real quick.
Well, I think Joe Biden has always been exceptionally popular with particularly the white working class. And he really made the case that if you are looking, he acknowledged the pain, the suffering, the difficulty of those voters. And then I think he made the case that Donald Trump has nothing to offer them. I believe the word he used was malarkey when he said, if you believe Donald Trump's going to help you. So there wasn't really anybody better to make the case than Joe Biden, who remains popular here in Pennsylvania and beyond.
Wendy, we'll let you have the last word.
Middle class Joe, as he calls himself, says malarkey. For the blue-collar billionaire, as Donald Trump is often referred to, basically says the same thing. Both of them don't resonate with people that don't share their lifestyles. Sure, they both came from a bit of privilege, but maybe not really when you look at some of the upbringing that the Trump kids talked about, and of course what Joe Biden talks about. He, by the way, gave a great speech last night, and really our hearts go out to talking about Beau. But really the polls will tell. I guess we'll see next week or maybe even tomorrow.
All right, ladies, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, Erica.
Thanks, Erica.
There's a teen driving school that's putting students to the test.